Hi, everybody. This is Latasha Pauling, your one-on-one life coach, tailor-made just for you. I'm so happy this is Friday night, Friday Live with me. A little bit after 9. So I'm doing the second part of anger, okay? The reason why I chose anger is because a lot of us, we dwell in anger and we don't overcome it and we let it continue. Then we feel like we got over it and we let another situation come up, and then we're angry again, and we don't truly learn how to deal with our anger. So that's why I want to talk about dealing with our anger. Okay, the definition of anger is a strong feeling of annoyance, displeasure, and hostility. Do you want to walk around like that? walk Think about it. You're walking around, you're angry, you have hostility towards people, things, situations, things that have went on in your life. You're walking around so heavy, and you're sowing into the flesh and not the spirit. Remember the principle that we have our foundation on, that we speak when we talk about anger. And in the Bible it says, be angry and sin not. The sin is not an anger. The sin is what the byproduct of anger and what happens because of anger. I want to be so clear on that tonight, and I did cover that in the first anger video. So we don't want to walk around in anger, because it'll lead you into sin. It'll lead you into wrong behavior. Okay, so what do I need to work on in order to get rid of anger? Right? That's the question. What do I need to really work on in order to get rid of my anger in my life? Let's make it personal. In my life, in your life, in our life. What do we really need to do, ladies? Okay. We need to, number one, find out what triggers our anger. So what's triggering your anger? A trigger is whatever causes your anger to exist, whatever the situation is that's around your anger, that is the trigger point. So you need to figure out what is triggering the particular anger that you're going through. And most of the time when you are angry about something, it is not the first time you've been angry about that particular thing, right? It's always something over and over again that we're angry about. And it's the same thing over and over. So you need to figure out what is triggering that anger right there. Okay, define the anger in your life. Anger should not be a reaction emotion. I'm going to say that one more time because it's so important. Anger should never be a reaction emotion in your life. We all know that anger is an emotion, right? Something that you're going to go through emotionally. So it should not be the kind of emotion that you're reacting out of anger. You should not let anger be a reaction emotion. But anger should be an emotion that's there in the emotion of research. You need to research your anger. Once anger is found, there's deeper things within that, waiting underneath the surface for you to figure out. Underneath that anger, there's deeper things underneath that. So essentially, anger can teach you lessons about yourself, because whatever's underneath that anger is the true thing that you need to work on in order to expel that anger, so then it can't come back up and it can't have that same way with you. It's just like you find out sin and you decide not to participate anymore, and you eradicate it once you are aware of how you've been participating and why you have been participating. And that's the same thing with anger. You're finding out what is the root of your anger in that situation. So knowledge is so powerful when it comes to anger. And then you see it, and then you learn how to combat that anger that's coming against you. I just remember this story of a young lady, and she was never ever felt like that a certain person respected her, right? And she was always feeling like that person was second guessing her, making her feel like nothing, belittling her, picking on her. So every time, she was the loudest in her life, time after time. But every time it get to a certain point, she would just get so angry. She would get so distraught. And she would just go off, you know, and she wouldn't necessarily go off on the person that was causing all the emotional damage, but she would go off on everybody around her because of the pain she was suffering. But because she didn't realize that person that was causing all the pain was affecting her so much, and that was a person she really looked up to, and she really held what they said to high esteem, that person. So that's why she could never go to that person, because she felt like what that person was saying was true. But yet she could never respond to that person and tell that person how she felt, because of the pedestal she had that person put on, and she had herself down here. So she was taking in all their thoughts, and she was allowing it to penetrate within inside her, and it was making her angry. But she was never ever at that point able to talk to the person that was actually causing the anger. Does that sound familiar? Where that one thing will make you angry in life, but you don't address that thing, but you get angry with everything around you, and you address those things, right? And sometimes there are things that you are angry about, but they're little things, and they're just bothering you because of that big thing, that elephant, that pink elephant in the room that you are not addressing. And so once she decides to address that person and speak to that situation, the things they were saying and speaking into her life, then her anger issues got so much better, because she took control of anger, and she didn't allow it to control her. You understand? She took control of the situation, and she allowed herself to be free by speaking into that situation. And then it eradicated the other small circumstances in her life, because she dealt with the main problem. Because that's what anger can do. When you don't deal with the major problem, the thing that you're really angry about, it affects everything around you, and you don't get rid of the anger because you're not dealing with the major problem in your life. If that sounds familiar, you have to really do some digging, because it's not the small things that set us off. Well, I don't want to say it that way. I mean, it seems like it's the small things, but if you deal with the major things, the small things will figure its way out in your life, will work itself out, because you dealt with the big thing, and you will be emotionally more stable, emotionally able to be aware of everything else. Because how many times are you mad about one thing, and then you think about all these other things that you're mad about, and the anger becomes bigger? See, that's because you let the negativity in, and you let it just like a disease, and it just spreads, and everything becomes magnified in your anger. So that's what goes on. So you have to eradicate the big thing that's going on in your life, the elephant in the room that you do know it's there. You see it, but you are afraid to address it. We can't be afraid to address it and just let things build up, and then anger just comes out, and you're not able to control it because you have let it become to a boiling point. When water gets so hot, it's going to bubble, and it's just like going to overflow in the pot, right? Once it just rises. And that's how we become. That's how our anger becomes in life. So your anger is a sign that something within you has not been resolved. Anger is a sign that something within you has not been resolved. You can become a better person through examining all the conditions around your anger, understanding what's going on really, you know. So turn, you know, what most people see as negative, which is anger. Turn anger, which most people see as negative, into something positive just by how you deal with your anger in your life. That's the key. That's the key to overcoming anger, is changing how you think about anger. Okay, many people allow anger into their lives and they use it to blow up. Okay, and they think it's going to make them feel better. But I'm telling you to use anger as a vehicle to do some self-examination on yourself. Because once you figure out that you're angry, right, I want you to consciously, that means be aware, okay? Be aware of your anger. Open yourself up to your anger and know that it's there. Let it come. Don't be afraid of it. Don't suppress it. Know that you're angry. Be afraid of it. But then once you know that you're angry, figure out why quick, fast, and in a hurry. Why are you really angry? Not the little things, but the big things, okay? Find out fast, quick, and in a hurry, because when you suppress things, you let things lie, you just let them sit, that's when anger takes over. But you can grab a hold of anger by being aware of what's going on in your life and why you're angry. The deeper things within you that are causing the anger. So where you are in control. And I'm not just talking about you, but since God has given us free choice in life, our choice is to allow God to help us and to give us perspective on our life, to give us direction in our lives. So we have to allow God in and allow Him to direct us and to show us things in our dark corners where we don't go normally, where we just allow things to just build up and we can't even see our way out because we just allow anger to just have its way with us. But we don't have to see that. I'm trying to tell you to change your pattern in anger. The pattern right now in anger is you become angry, you think about it, you just let it just take you. And you go with it and you don't have any control that you need, not righteous control, not what God has given you. God has given you the fruit of being able to, oh gosh, I can't think of the word right now. I hate when I lose my word. But God has given you self-control. That's the word I'm looking for. God has given you self-control. That's one of the fruits. But you don't allow it to work in your life. And you allow anger to take over because you think going off, doing things, saying things is going to actually make you better, make you feel better in the long run. And let me tell you, you can feel better for a little bit by doing that kind of stuff. But it's not everlasting because it always becomes remorse and regret at the end of that road. So when you decide to allow God in the situation and let God work in that situation, and you sit there and you allow Him to do His perfect work in that situation, and you really look and see why you're feeling this way, you stop, and you just have some self-discovery. You don't allow anger to take over, but you grab anger and you say, okay, anger is going to help me. Can you believe anger can help you? Anger can help you anger means aware, okay? Instead of angry, you're going to become aware in that anger. And what you're going to become aware of is, why are you truly angry? And then you're going to be like, how can I change this? What can I do to make myself calm down, for me not to be angry? How do I address this so it never comes back up again the same way. Because that is possible. You know, we're overcomers to God, right? You know that you're overcoming, and you can overcome anger just like anything else. You don't have to live a life with a temper and being angry and saying and doing things that you're going to, in the end of the day, regret. You don't have to live that. And so through your anger, you can learn about yourself. And you can learn, because you know what? The enemy works in your anger. So whatever's at the end of the anger, that is something you need to work on. And so once you work on that sort of thing, then anger dissolves, because the enemy can no longer get you in that area, because you are aware of that anger in that area and you are on guard. And no one can be on guard for your mouth but you. No one can be on guard for your actions but you. So you must own it right now. You must own your anger and all that comes with it. And you must change the direction on how you deal with anger. You must be ready to step in the position of not letting anger overtake you any longer. This is for your betterment. This is for you to become a better person in life, a better person to do what God wants for you to do on this earth. Because once you get control of the anger, you don't carry around as much baggage anymore. You're more lighter, you're much more freer to do the things that God has for you to do. You're not boggled down. You know, you don't allow things to just overtake you anymore. You notice the patterns in your life that leads to anger. So you get a hold of those things and you learn how to turn it, and from negative to positive, the things you need to do in order not to be angry. I'm not saying that you won't have a moment with the children where you're angry, a moment with your husband when you're angry, a moment with your best friend, your mama, your daddy, your dog, whoever, when you're angry. But I'm telling you to learn what to do with it. And sometimes you may stumble and fall, but the Bible says get back up again. So the more you learn, the more you practice the new principle of changing anger into your life, changing anger from negative to positive, because it's positive. Anytime you're doing self-discovery and you're becoming a better person, that is positive. So this is my uplifting message. This is my motivational method to get a hold of anger. So now to end this message, I am going to read all my anger quotes for the week. All my anger quotes, because if you do follow me on Facebook, which you can, Latasha Pauling, just my name. If you do follow me, you will know that I did anger quotes every day from Monday through Friday, and they're all different quotes that God had given me personally, you know, in my spirit. And so every day I wrote a new quote, including today. So I do want to share all the quotes just to wrap this up today, so you can hear all the quotes, and in each quote you will hear a new perspective on how to deal with anger in your life. So I just hope these quotes really bless you. You know, it really blessed me just writing them, because I take these thoughts that I get and I apply them to my life. And let me tell you, through doing this and trying to get a hold of my anger, it made me a calmer person, a more peaceful person. It gave me more clarity. I see things. I'm more on purpose now. And I'm just happier and more fulfilled in life, because I know that I choose how I respond to anger. And my principle, angry and sin not, is what God said. So it's okay to be angry, but it's not okay to sin through your anger. Okay? So, but that being said, I'm going to read you all my quotes. And I am so happy, all the quotes that God gave me. I don't take any responsibility for them. They come directly from God. So, okay, the first quote, which was on Monday, it says, words of regret come out of anger. So those words that you said that you regret, they came out of anger. So that means that if we back up and we don't let our anger be expressed that way and don't blow up, then we won't have as many words of regret, right? Because we're thinking things through. We're not reacting, but we've been the director of our own words, right? Directing the conversation instead of reacting from other people's negative behavior. Okay, the next quote is, let's see, deny your flesh of anger and conceive self-control. Remember I was talking about self-control? So if you deny anger in the standard way that it usually works in your life, where you blow up and say and do things you shouldn't say, if you deny that kind of behavior, you will gain self-control. And that's a fruit of the Spirit that is a keeper that you really do need. So that's a beautiful thing. We die every day, God says. We need to die every day. So if you do deny your flesh of anger, you will conceive self-control. What a beautiful fruit to have. Okay, next one, it says, peel your anger away to reveal the true source of your pain. So once you peel away, I talked about that too. Once you peel away anger, you reveal the true source of your pain. So like I said, anger is just what people see, what you express. But underneath that anger is things that are going on that catapulted that anger out. It's not really the anger that's making you mad. I mean, it's just a manifestation of another feeling. I'll say it that way. It's a manifestation of your maybe of your impatience, because you're angry, you're impatient, and you're just like, oh, I just want this, I want that. Or it's a manifestation of maybe you're hurt, someone hurt you, so you're angry. So you need to get to the underneath what's going on. So that's why it says peel away, peel your anger away and reveal the true source of your pain. Okay. And the next one says, don't let anger be the vehicle to destruction in your life, but let it be the road of self-discovery. I've been talking about that all this time. So don't allow anger to be destruction in your life, but flip anger around. Change how you respond to anger and think, that is a red flag. Anger should be your red flag. Woo, red flag. Okay, I'm not going to blow up, but I'm going to do self-discovery. Change your habits in anger. Do self-discovery. Think about what's going on. And that takes some self-control, right? Okay, so my last one, which I wrote today, and I'm wrapping it up today, it says, don't let your anger trigger you to do wrong, but find a trigger that brings on your anger, which you've also been talking about, because that anger can trigger you to do all kinds of things that you wouldn't necessarily do if you were not angry. So don't let it be a trigger, but find your triggers. And we talked about what a trigger was, right? We talked about the definition of a trigger, which is whatever causes your anger to exist in the first place. So that's what you need to find, is the trigger of why you're really mad, what's the underneath, thing in the circumstance. So I really, really hope you got something out of this Anger2. And I'm not sure what I'm going to be talking about on live on Monday, but I really hope you will join me. And I thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you like this video, just push the like button, subscribe to my page. So every time I do a video, you can just pop up and you can start listening to it. And so I just thank you so much. And I just encourage you to just be the best you can be, the real you. I don't even like saying the best you, the real you that God made, in order for you to fulfill your purpose on this earth. And anger is one thing that we need to just eradicate altogether. Okay, so you have to follow the principles that God has in His Word as strictly as you can in order to eradicate some things from your flesh. And that's what you need to do with anger, to eradicate that from your flesh in order for you to walk lighter in Christ. Okay. I do love you all, ladies, and I hope you have a blessed evening. Thank you for listening. Bye.